Hey, this is Jack Palmer, CEO at Plotly, and I'm going to show you how to run and host a Dash application inside a Databricks notebook. So I've got Plotly's Databricks instance open here, which we host on AWS. And the first step is I'm going to use Databricks dbutils to import the Dash library. The Dash library is open source, it's MIT licensed, and it's available on pip or conda, so it's very easy for any Databricks user to import into their Databricks environment. Scrolling down here, the next step, I'm going to import the Databricks Dash library, which is a special private Dash library that enables Dash applications to run on Spark clusters inside the Databricks notebook environment. The Databricks Dash library is available with the Dash Enterprise suite of developer tools, and it can be installed as an egg file uploaded to your Databricks environment. After the Databricks Dash import, I've got my standard Dash library imports. There's the Dash core library, there's Dash core components, Dash HTML components, and then the Pandas Python library. Step two, I'm going to gather some information that my Dash visualization server will need about the cluster, the port, and the authentication token that I can pass to my Dash visualization server so that it can effectively run on my Spark cluster on Databricks. Finally, third step, I'm going to write just standard open source Dash code, which is no different than Dash code that you would write in a Jupyter notebook, VS Code, any text editor. So to write this Dash code in Databricks, you don't need anything special. It's the same Dash code that millions of users learn about each month by reading the online Dash documentation. So let's just walk through that really quickly. First thing, I'm going to import a style sheet. This is just a kind of out of the box CSS style sheet that we provide to make the Dash applications look a little nicer out of the box. Second, I'm going to spin up or instantiate my Dash application using this Databricks Dash command. And you'll notice that I'm passing in some information about my Spark cluster here in Databricks session. So I've got the host, the token, the cluster ID, and then this CSS style sheet. Next, I'm going to read in a Pandas data frame. So this is the data that we'll be using in the Dash application to interactively visually explore. This could just as well be a Spark data frame, and more likely for Databricks users, they'll be reading Spark data frames rather than Pandas data frames, but it's the same idea. Next, I'm going to lay out what's inside my Dash application. So all Dash applications have a declarative layout at the top of the application or in a layout file that declaratively describes all the user interface elements within the Dash application. So I'll highlight all this code here. You can see that most of the Dash app code is in this layout. So this Dash application has a dropdown, some radio items, another set of dropdowns and radio items, a graph, and then at the very bottom a slider. And in a second, we'll pull up this Dash application running on Databricks, and you'll be able to see all those UI elements. Finally, we have the Python callback functions that define the interactivity between the different UI elements. So these are the Python functions that are called, for example, when you change the slider, and then the value that you select from the slider or the dropdown then updates the graph or another set of UI elements. So you can kind of see how that works by inspecting this Python decorator. There's an output at the top, which is the graph in this Dash application. And then there's a bunch of inputs. So the radio buttons, the drop downs, the slider. Anytime those UI elements change, the most recent values for those UI elements get passed to this Python callback function in order to update the callback function's output, which is the one graph in this Dash application. So this is a powerful idea because in this callback function, you can really do anything in Python that you can imagine. You can run Spark queries, you can run Pandas queries, you can run an asynchronous machine learning job, you can call out to an API, you can call out to a database. It's really up to your imagination what you want to do inside this callback function in order to update some output UI elements inside the Dash app. Then down here, I have a helper function. Just Dash apps are really standard Python files, so you can sprinkle in helper Python functions. This function, create time series, is a helper function to create the time series graph that I'll show in a second in the finished Dash application. And then we have two more callback functions. So having written this Dash app, the last step is that we run the app. So we do that with just app.runServer, and we pass in the port, which we collected earlier in this notebook. And then this line spits out the URL to our Dash app. So I'm going to copy and paste this URL, open it up in a new tab. Dash app is loading. And then after a few seconds, it displays our Dash app. So every time I change something in this application, like I'm changing the year right now in this slider, it calls that Python callback function that we were inspecting and updates the display in the graphs. So if I change this dropdown and we want to look at CO2 emissions, it will call one of the Python callback functions that we looked through and update the graph. On this side, same idea. So let's look at imports of goods and services as a percentage of GDP, and it updates this graph. So Dash is really the user interface library for Python, R, or Julia. Most often, users are making Dash applications that look like dashboards, but you can also make very simple applications that could be just a single visualization or a single table or a visualization and a table. And by giving users the visualization primitives to build their own interactive analytic web apps, we found this to be a much more effective approach for data science and machine learning practitioners rather than giving them out-of-the-box black box tools. So here's an example of one Dash app running in Databricks. I'm going to open another notebook now to give you a sense of the variety that you can build with Dash inside Databricks, and we'll take a look at this second Dash app. So I'm going to open up my workspace and open up this time series search Databricks notebook. I'll click run. And now it's the same steps that we just went through in the previous notebook. So I'll just let this notebook run, and once it's done, we can cut to the chase and just look at the finished app. So while this is running, some of the ideas that we would like to add to this integration include making the Dash app display inline inside the notebook. So instead of printing a URL at the bottom here, it would be very nice if the Dash app could just display in line within the notebook. And if you could have multiple Dash applications or visualizations in multiple instances of the Dash visualization server running within the notebook environment. But for right now, for this MVP or V1, we just print a URL to the Dash application and visualization server running on your Databricks instance. So I think this notebook has run now. I'm going to copy and paste the URL, open up a new tab, enter the URL for the Dash server, Dash visualization server running on Databricks. And now we have a display for a new Dash application. So this Dash app is a little different than the first. It displays about 10 million points using WebGL interactively. And these points are from Amazon reviews of musical instruments. So in the y-axis is the length of the review. So these points up here are relatively long reviews, and down here, relatively short reviews. And you can see when I'm hovering over a point, it's firing a Python callback function in my Dash application code that's, I wrote completely custom for this application to show the review text at the bottom. So every time I hover over one of these points, which is an Amazon musical instrument review, it's showing me the text for the review. And then I also added a search bar to my Dash app, so I can type in a keyword like guitar, click submit, and now it calls a Python function that does a Spark query and looks for all Amazon reviews in this data set of 10 million reviews that have the keyword guitar, and then highlights them in red. Now let's say I'm interested in another keyword, so I'm going to compare guitar and drums. I submit this, and now it adds all the reviews with the keyword drums. So you can see there are a lot more reviews on guitar than drums. Let's filter out the guitar ones, and then look, here's a relatively long review up here with the keyword drums. So I'm going to zoom into my WebGL graph to take a closer look at that. Zoom in again, and then hover over it, and I get the review text on the bottom. And then I can zoom back out by double clicking or pressing this home button. And then I can clear my searches. So again, every interaction here is custom defined through Python code. So you can write these really rich, totally custom user interfaces or dashboards on top of your Python in Spark models, or your R in Spark models, or your Julia in Spark models. Some downsides to this approach, the visualization server is only running on a single thread, a single web server thread. So it's not extremely scalable. It's an awesome experience for a single developer or a couple of developers who are rapidly prototyping Dash applications in the Databricks notebook environment or doing research for themselves. But if you wanted dozens or hundreds or even thousands of people to look at this Dash app link running on a Spark cluster on Databricks, it wouldn't be very scalable. So in the next video, my colleague Peter is going to show how to take these prototype Dash apps that you develop in the Databricks notebook experience and host them on Dash Enterprise, which is a Kubernetes platform that Plotly creates for hosting Dash applications in a highly scalable, no downtime way. And on Dash Enterprise, it's very easy to write Dash applications that connect to your Databricks Spark cluster through Databricks Connect. So these are the two modes of combining the Databricks Spark backend and the Dash frontend First mode is what I just showed, rapid prototyping of these Dash apps within your Databricks notebook environment. And then the second mode is if you need productionizing these Dash apps on the Dash Enterprise Kubernetes platform.